Okay, so in your environments that are B, you have this code, and yours may not look exactly. Okay, all right. Good. Yours environment that are B may or may not look exactly like this because I have slightly different ones in different examples I use. I keep trying to improve it to make it more understandable. So you might be coming through this path, which ends up using Postgres instead of through this path, for example. You might have a mistake in database.yml, for example, a typo in one of these things, any number of things. If you want, I'll look together to yours to figure out what the problem is. Okay? See what it is. In Nano Twitter, we're going to use Postgres in the cloud in Heroku, and if it were me, I would use SQLite for the local. But there's reasons to not do that. It's kind of like pick your poison. The reason to do it is because I hate to have to remember to start at the server. I feel like I remove complications by just using SQLite 3. The counter argument is that it's a bad thing to have a different environment in development than you have in production, because you could have something work in one and then stop working in the other. So, you know, if this was not a small project at the very start, if I had a big system, I probably would be using the same database in both and pay the price. But in this example, I would use SQLite 3. Right. Okay. How do you pick a database in general? Well, let's leave SQLite 3 on the side. That's known to be kind of a development toy-ish database. I mean, a database like Oracle is well known to be like the most fancy production one, but it's extraordinarily expensive. Like Brandeis has a copy of Oracle, and they probably pay $300,000 or $500,000 a year, something crazy like that for it. There's a similar database for Microsoft called SQL Server, which is probably cheaper but pretty expensive. And I think those are the two major ones in terms of like enterprise business databases. And they're SQL databases, right? On the open source side, MySQL, very, very, very well renowned. It's every bit as performant as Oracle. I mean, it's just every bit as good. It's just not, doesn't come with as much help and support infrastructure. And then there's Postgres. Up to a year or two ago, MySQL was more popular. I think now Postgres is more popular. And then and that's also free. It's also open source. And then you have on the NoSQL side, there's a series of them as well. Like MongoDB is very well known. There's CouchDB, and then there's even more special purpose databases like Streambase, and there's all kinds of Vertica, all kinds of unusual databases which are sort of a class apart. And so the way you pick a database typically is, pick the one that it's the classic, you aren't going to need it, YAGNI. Pick the one that gets you to your current destination in the shortest possible path, and then wait until you can demonstrate a need for something else, and then go find something else. Versus saying, I know that someday my thing is going to be so big that I must start with Oracle on day one. Which you'll find some startups, and not anymore, but in the past, people would think that. And I would say, no, take the shortest path, in this case it's Postgres, use that, innocent until proven guilty, and then switch. We're not really going to get into what are some of the signposts that tell you should consider using a NoSQL database, but there are certain situations that you can read a lot about. It's really fascinating area, but we're not going to touch into it too much. So that's how I would pick a database. I would take the shortest path between here and there that gets me the job done. You might go to a different cloud provider, like for example Azure, which is kind of like Microsoft's answer to Heroku, and there you would get for free, I think, probably a SQL Server database. If I was planning to deploy into Azure, then I would look into using SQL Server. So I would just take the shortest path. That's how I would pick it. Okay. Who's currently stuck on Postgres? Do you want to do some quick troubleshooting? Was it you? Did anything I say here help you go like, I know what it is? No? Do one of you TA people want to sit with her and try to figure it out? Okay, or you can do it or because I don't want to make everybody wait while I do that. Question? Oh, I thought you had a question. Okay. Okay. Let's examine. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Actually, let's examine this this file. So this part doesn't do anything with databases. Yes. I'm recording it. Yes. This part is started, if you recall, at my demo app. It actually doesn't do anything, but it gets called right here, very early on. I initialize Sinatra, I initialize Active Record, and then I call environments. And environments does one of two things, depending on if you're production or development and test. Development and test, it does nothing. Okay? In production, it does this. So how can it be that it does nothing? Well, that is because, and I'm going to just research it while you watch, that is because Active Record, because if we go here, see there's no code in here at all. Active Record, inherently, when you first attempt to open, to access the database, it will inherently, by default, go look for a file called database.yml, and it will automatically parse this file and figure out what to do. And as I talk, I'm going to guess that that is being done by Sinatra/Active Record, which is another gem. So let's go do a quick little research and say in here, Active Record database.yml default, and see what we come up with. Oh, here's a good one. Not very useful. Let's look at Sinatra Active Record. That's the other way around. It's Active Record Sinatra. Active Record Sinatra gem. Actually, we can do better. I'll show you another trick. I'm going to do gem. Is it view? Let's see, view. Oh wait, gem list. First of all, I want to list my all my gems that have Active Record in them. That's the one we want. And I'm going to do gem open this, and it's going to launch Atom to the source code for this gem. And we're going to look inside, and we see here, this is probably where all the action happens. Here's the code that does all the looking at the mode and looks for if this file exists. It's going to open it and do app.set on it, and app.set is probably, and then later on, when we do database equals, Okay, I'm not going to decode this totally, but basically that my intuition was paid off. If it's going to check first for a URL call or an environment variable. Everybody know what an environment variable is, by the way? Everybody good with that? Okay, so it's going to look for an environment variable called database URL. And it turns out that Heroku, when it launches your application, sets database.url to some magic string, and this code is then parsing it to pull out the necessary information. So it's going to first say, if there's an environment variable called database.url, then do this. And if not, it's going to look for something in the config directory called database.yml, and it's doing that. And app.set is most likely part of Active Record extension. I'm not going to go into it, as I said. Active Record, the library, probably has hooks to allow it to be extended, and that's what this is exercising. Okay. So, if we try something else here, and go say Heroku, oh, sorry,
Heroku, what's it called? Database dot, I forgot the thing called, database URL. Find some doc on that. Here's all about Heroku and Postgres. And you're going to need this stuff. You're going to be reading about this. But I want to find that Heroku, okay. Find database URL. Actually, I might try to do this while you guys watch. Would you like to do that? You want to see how to get Postgres set up in Heroku, or you want to go on? I need to hear you. Huh? You want me to do this? How about everybody else? To go like this, if you want me to do it. Thank you. Okay, good. God, you guys, we've known each other for a month now, right? You should be relaxed enough to say, I won't take it bad. Okay, I'm gonna just fly without I'm gonna fly without a net. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure this thing is, no, get rid of this. This is the gem. You want to make sure that this thing is inside on GitHub. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do git status. I'm all good. Nothing to commit. I'm in good shape. Okay, good. Next, I'm going to remind myself, because it's been a little while, deploy Sinatra on Heroku. Okay? Sinatra is a rack-based app. Don't worry about what that means too much. Okay. Sinatra. Got that. Here's what you do. Let me compare that with what I actually have. That's terrible. What I actually have is config.ru. Looks right. Gem file. Got it. That's good. Okay, so that's all the same. These are different platforms. We are doing require active record. That's good. See here, these are other object relational mappers or different interfaces to databases. Data mapper is one. SQL is another. They're popular enough that they actually make it into this documentation. Okay, I'm going to open it. Oops, not here. I'm going to open a tab here. Actually, go back to this and go deploy Heroku. Go to the basics. Just as a reminder, Heroku is a service that's often some other place, and they provide infrastructure to allow me to deploy my code to it. Cloud infrastructure. They're particularly strong with Ruby on Rails, but they also do JavaScript and everything else, and they're catching up. So we're going to deploy with Git. So we're doing this already. Got this all. So we got it built in Git. Now we're going to make sure we have the Heroku gem installed. So I'm going to go Heroku, make it bigger. Heroku-B, not there. So I'm going to find out how to install it by going look for the installing of the Heroku utility. I don't see it. I'm just going to open another window and go Heroku CLI, command line interface. And I've got to find that over here. And it's going to say, okay, it's not there, so I don't have Heroku installed, so I'm going to do, this is interesting. If it is uninstalled and any other Heroku gems. Interesting, okay. Wait a second. Give me how to install it. Install the Heroku toolbelt. Okay, I didn't see that. For Mac OS X, yes, install it. Yeah, Heroku.com. Yes.
Actually, you just type like Heroku slash version, it will automatically like download for you in your terminal.
No, but you have to install something.
Okay?
This?
Like version.
It's not there yet. You gotta get it in there. Get it first.
No, when I type just Heroku slash version, so you can download for me version.
Version?
Yeah.
But see, it says Heroku command not found, so that command line is not in here. Okay, so the Heroku tool belt should be where? Say what?
Platform Connect Enterprise. Which one did you download?
Just go to Mac and install Heroku tool belt for Mac OS 10. So this is basically giving you the local utilities and whatever that you're going to use to operate Heroku from your computer. Okay? Is it going? Is it going? What's going on? Oh, here we go. Continue. Install. Yeah, you can play along with me if you want, because you're going to need this anyway. Okay, I'll keep reading while this is downloading. Okay, so once we have that thing, I should be able to say Heroku create, and it's going to complain because of authentication. So we'll deal with that in a second. Authentication meaning I have to prove that I am who I am before I can deploy stuff to Heroku. So, might as well go here. Okay, I got that now. Good. So now I should be able to go to my shell again and type Heroku version, and boom. Oh, look, it uses Node. How cool is that? Okay, while it's doing that, I'll read some more. Interesting, okay. All right, let's see what happens. Okay. That's pretty interesting. The whole word?
No, you don't need a dash.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Yep. Okay. Looks like we're in business. So now we're going to go and we're going to do Heroku create. What I'm doing here, this command, if it worked, is going to create the app, even though there's no code for it yet, on the Heroku server. Okay? But I think it's going to fail because I don't have authentication yet. Let's try. Oh, it works because it found my keys. If this doesn't work for you, then what you need to do is to go back to the authentication section and do what you need to do to get authenticated. Okay? So now it's created and it's decided to call my app that. Secret Scrubland, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I can now do, I think, well, let's do Heroku help here to see all the commands. I can do Heroku display optional clone list, login members, Heroku. Yeah, I need that, but I first want to just try to open this. Oh wait, before I get to that, I want to go to this URL and see what happens. I don't think this is, because it says .git, that's pretty fishy. So, no, but I can log in, and hopefully it remembers my password. Okay, and I should be able to look at my dashboard, and we should be able to see all the Heroku apps I have running. And here's all the Heroku apps I have running. And the one we just created was called something with Scrubland. So there it is. There's the new app. It has nothing yet. There's no processes yet, but it's now, we're getting there. We have the beginnings of fun. Beginnings of fun. Okay, we go back to our documentation, and we're going to go back to Postgres, where we have to first provision, that is, and the word provision simply means enable or install, okay? And we're going to check. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do first, we're going to ask Heroku what add-ons are available to me, given that this is there's none installed yet. There's no add-ons. And I have to, doesn't have a database provision, or you wish to upgrade, then you can create a new database, use the CLI. So we're going to create a master slave setup. That's what I want to do. And it's going to tell me, let me see if I can make a follower, blah, blah, blah. What the hell is a follower? I don't know. Heroku PG. Let's try Heroku. Did you say Heroku install PG or something? Or Heroku PG? Let's see what happens. Nope. Another thing you can do is Heroku help PG. Okay, Heroku PG. What I need to do is to create a database. Go back. I don't even know what a follower is. No, I don't need a follower. Just a regular database. I don't need a follower database. I don't know what that means. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of the fancy stuff. I need a very simple thing. Okay, go back. I'm going to say Heroku Sinatra PG. So what's going on here is that I have to tell Heroku to create an instance of the Postgres server for me, and because I'm on a free tier, it doesn't come automatically, but I can turn it on, and I'm trying to remember how to turn it on. Okay, I'm going to switch over and look at the add-ons, because I believe that's what it was. And I'm going to look here for all the add-ons, and I'm going to look for, is this a scrollable? No. Heroku Postgres right here. Reliable and powerful query is there based on Postgres. Okay. Data stores, data store utilities, monitoring, logging, caching. See all the different plugins you can get? Search, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Wow. All right. I'm going to take a different approach to this. I'm going to go to, okay. And we have the hobby dev. So this is what I want. I'm going to get these features. And I have to do this. There we go. Yay. I'm going to ask the add-ons to create a Heroku Postgres CQL. So if I'm right, paste it. And now it's creating a database server for me in the cloud. And the way I found that was I went to the free tier. See, if I'm paying basic, then I'm paying $9 a month. I can get better features. For the free, I can just get, like here's a row limit of 10,000. For $9 a month, it's 10 million. For $50 a month, there's no limit. Okay, so this is still thinking. Thinking. Because it's free, it's slow. Okay. Oh, try again later. That's interesting. Try again. One more time. So what do we do when this happens? We take the error message and, oh, there it is. It's going. Boom, it did it. Okay, database has been created, is available. It's empty. If upgrading, you can transfer data. Use Heroku add-ons docs to view documentation. Okay, we don't need that now. So if I go Heroku Postgres now, it's going to show me that I have one database. Because one database server. Let's see if that's true. All right, while that's thinking, I'm going to go back to my doc. And we created this. And now I'm going to do git remote v on a different directory, git remote -v. And you see here that Git has already been configured to know that there's a Heroku. So let me explain this. So the picture we have here now is we have my computer, and I have a directory in here called whatever it's called, Sinatra hands-on demo. Sinatra hands-on. It has a bunch of files, including in there's a hidden file, hidden directory called .git, which contains what's needed to manage this as a Git repository, which allows you to do commands like git push and so on. Then there's GitHub over here, where I have, as we talked about one of the very first classes, I'm using GitHub to manage my source code. So there's a copy of this repository over here also. So I can pull and push. And this is called a remote. So you see there that the top two, Heroku Secret Scrubland 3828, is a directory over on Heroku, which is running kind of a fake GitHub. And in here, the repository is called Secret Scrubland, etc. Over here, it's called hands-on demo. So if I do a git push from here to Heroku, Heroku is going to interpret that as meaning deploy the new version of the software. If I do a git push from here to Origin, all I'm saying is I want to save the latest revision of my software in GitHub. Okay? Stop me if I'm losing you or if you're falling asleep. All right, let's go on. Let's see what's going on over here. So I was in here, I was in here. Okay, and look at this, database URL. We've talked about it. So now we see that the database has been created. It's ready to have migrations applied to it, and but it has no database tables in it yet. Okay, now I can now do Heroku console. See if I remember that correctly. Has been, please use Heroku run. Run shell, maybe? Okay. So now what's going on is, from my computer here, oh, it didn't work. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Let me just look it up. Console. Go to browser, Heroku, Sinatra, console, not shell. Nope. Nope, that's not good. That's not useful. Heroku run, help run. Help run. Oh, Bash. Okay, Bash is the name of the shell program on Linux. So I'm going to go back here where this error happened. No, forget that. Forget that. Yes, and it's Bash. So this says, go to the computer in the cloud and run the shell there, and let me interact with it from here. Okay? Okay, so now you see the prompt change because now I'm on the server. It's as if I walked over there and opened the console. I'm on the server. So maybe I should be able to say that. So you see, Heroku has set up for me this magic environment variable called database URL. And this is the thing, finally, that line of code is parsing. Okay? So if I go back to my code now, and I examine, and I examine this, and I examine this code in particular, it's saying parse this environment variable. Parse it, or if you can't find it, just parse this. So what happens is that DB, in fact, I'm not going to do that. So basically, at this point, DB is going to be set up with a data structure containing all this information. Then we tell Active Record, okay, establish a connection, but here's what I want you to do. So if all this is true, I should be able to say rake DB migrate. Okay, I don't have rake. That's the problem. So I have to think, oh, I know, bundle. Nope, that's a problem. Okay. I go to my trusty Google. I go Heroku, rake not found. Oh, run rake. Gotcha. Okay. Try it. That doesn't make any sense, though. Interesting. Maybe I need to go out of the console. Let me think about this for a second. Or I can just go here and say Heroku run rake. See what happens. So now it's running rake in the cloud on the server called Secret Scrubland. And it's saying, I don't know how to run rake, so I'm going to go Heroku, try this anyway, bundler, bundle, and see if that works. Nope, okay, keep on reading. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, maybe I didn't do that. Ah, okay. I'm willing to believe that. Git push Heroku master. I haven't even given Heroku my code. Ah, okay. Huh? And Heroku is now saying, the thing you're pushing looks like a Ruby app. Awesome. I'm going to compile it. I'm going to install the version of Ruby you want. Awesome. I'm going to install all your gems for you. Awesome. And is that a hand? No. So it's just going by my gem file, and it knows what to do there. And something went wrong here. Oh, yeah, because I can't use SQLite. So how do I fix that? I go into my gem file, and for the first time, I will do this.
You've got Heroku.
Pardon, do I? That's not the right notation, though. Gem file. Oh, no. Gem file production syntax. Just trying to remember this. It's do. Oh, it's group. I see. Group do. Gotcha. All right. No problem. Group development colon assets. Okay. Do end. And if we want to be very scientific, we would say group production do end. So this says, bundler, when you process this gem file, check your mode and skip those lines if they're not part of the right mode in which you're running. So now what I have to do is I have to go git add all, git commit and changed gem file, git push. Now I'm pushing it up to GitHub, but I have to also say git push Heroku master. Okay, so now it's sending the same files again. It's going to do some of the stuff again. It's going to try running the gem file again. It's going to install them again, and hopefully it's not going to try to, it's giving me an error message there, which I'll ignore for now. It's not going to try to install Postgres on Heroku. Are you following this, Alan? Okay. Is anybody a little bit vague on what I'm doing? Is everybody following it okay? If you're awake, that is. If you're asleep, I won't bother you. Anybody? Everybody? Yes?
Would you mind just going back to your code because I was doing something else and yeah, I got the same symbol like 3 because I haven't.
Okay. So the gem file is what you want to modify.
Oh, okay. So
And now, if we look at this, what happened, it did run the gem file. It gave a few errors, which I can fix, but I won't for now. Okay, so now it's there. So now, in theory, I should be able to go back and do Heroku run. I want to run, anyway, I remember what it is. Heroku run bash. So now it's basically moving me, doing a transporter beam. I'm now sitting at the console of the server in the sky somewhere. And now can I do rake T? Yes? No? Okay, good. This is very good. Finally, we hit the problem. So what's going on here is that when I happen to know that when I run rake T, it's going to try to access the database. And it's telling me, I don't know what to do here. Now we know that it has an environment variable called database URL because we proved it by saying echo $database URL, right? So we know we have that. That looks fine. And by the way, as an aside, you discover something you might not have realized, which is that Heroku is using Amazon Web Services as its web service provider. So even they're further indirecting it over to Amazon. So now we have to debug this, right? So how do I debug this? I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to close a lot of files to remove confusion. And I'm going to go back to environments that this thing, and I'm going to put, here's going to be something crazy. I'm going to put a breakpoint in here, but I don't care whether it works on my computer. I want to know if it works on Heroku. In fact, if I run it now, it won't even hit this breakpoint because it's going to go down here, right? So, and let me just to make sure that we have in here, I'm going to say require pry bybug. Now I have to do what? I have to exit the well, I can go to another one. Get out of this. Okay, and I get out of this one too. Get out of this one too. No, get out. Oh, well. Okay, get out of this one. Oh. Kill them all. Okay, I went one a little bit too far. Okay, nope. CD mydev, oops, no. / mydev / Sinatra and on. And I'm going to do git status. I have to add it. I have to commit it. Added pry. And now I have to do git push Heroku master. I don't need to put my updates to GitHub. This is just an experiment. So I'm going to do this. And again, it does it much faster because it knows a lot of the stuff has already been done, but I'm getting a lot of error messages here. So I got to look closely. Are they error messages? Let's see. Or are they? Oh, okay, it's failing there. Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, so now I can do Heroku again, run bash. I'm going to move my world back up to the server. I'm going to do rake -t again. Ah, damn, did not hit my breakpoint. Why? Ask myself why. Oh, interesting. I wonder if it's not even calling this. I bet it's not even calling environments that are B. So I got to look here. Oh, thanks a lot. Maybe this has to be earlier. Okay. How can my already be full? Just the other day it was empty. Okay. I just delete all this stuff too. just 1 gig. Where did it all go? Okay, so I made a change again. I got to go back and I got to do the same. Oh, I got to do the same. T, CD. I got to do git status, git add all, git commit, dash n reordered, requires, git push, Heroku, master. Now this moves the code from my little laptop here to my segment in Heroku, so that Heroku has the new updated code. Heroku detects that it's a push, examines it, and figures out, yep, it looks like a Ruby app. I'm going to do the bundler. Very happy. Okay, and now once it's done, it's running again. I can now go here and do rake-t again. And I want to exit. I don't know whether I need to exit from this. I don't know if it's actually picked up the new thing. Let's do an ls here just for fun. So this is interesting. So actually you see that the code is, I can do a cat of demo app RB and see that, it does not have the new one. I'm going to exit from this shell. And I'm going to examine what might have happened. Heroku run bash cat my app. What's it called? App demo app. Okay, I got it in the right order this time. This is first. I'm going to do rake-t again.